Many people spend their lives trying to be perfect. Perfect words, perfect timing, perfect choices. They wait until everything feels right. And while they wait, life passes. Stoicism teaches us a hard truth: perfection is not wisdom. Action is. Life is short. Not someday, not later. Perfection is often praised, but Stoicism sees it differently. The need to be perfect usually does not come from wisdom or high standards. It comes from fear. Fear hides behind good intentions. It wears the mask of discipline, preparation, and responsibility. But underneath it is the fear of being judged, rejected, or failing. Many people say they want to do things the right way, yet what they truly want is safety from discomfort. The Stoics taught that fear is a signal, not a guide. When you wait to be perfect, you are not preparing, you are avoiding. You avoid starting because starting means exposure. Exposure means others may see your limits. They may criticize. They may misunderstand. Perfection becomes a shield to protect the ego from pain. But a shield that blocks pain also blocks growth. A person who waits for perfection often believes that mistakes are dangerous. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Mistakes are natural events, like rain or wind. They are part of reality. Resisting them does not remove them. It only creates anxiety. When someone refuses to act until conditions are perfect, they give fear control over their actions. Fear then decides when they move, when they speak, and when they live. Stoics focused on what is within control. Perfection is not within control. Outcomes are not within control. Other people's opinions are not within control. Waiting for perfection means waiting for things you cannot command. This is not rational. It is surrendering your freedom to chance. Action, effort, and intention are within control. Choosing to act despite fear is within control. Fear often whispers that waiting is wise. It says, you need more time, or you are not ready, or you might fail. These thoughts feel logical, but they are habits of avoidance. Stoicism asks you to question these thoughts. Is the delay truly about improvement, or is it about comfort? Is the desire for perfection serving virtue, or serving fear? When people aim to be perfect, they often avoid responsibility. Acting means accepting consequences. Acting means owning results, good or bad. Fear prefers delay because delay feels like safety. But delay carries its own cost. Time passes, opportunities fade, skills weaken, confidence erodes. The Stoics warned against this slow decay. They believed that avoiding difficulty weakens the mind. Perfection is also linked to pride. Wanting to appear flawless is a form of attachment to image. Stoicism teaches humility. You are a human being, not a statue. Humans learn by doing, failing, correcting, and continuing. Expecting yourself to be perfect is expecting yourself to be something unreal. This creates inner conflict because reality will never meet that false standard. Fear convinces people that failure defines them. Stoicism rejects this belief. Failure is an event, not an identity. A person who fails while acting with reason and courage is still living well. A person who does nothing to avoid failure is already defeated by fear. The Stoics valued character over results. Courage, honesty, and effort matter more than success. Perfection also delays truth. When you act, you learn what works and what does not. When you wait, you live in imagination. Fear prefers imagination because it can create endless scenarios. Action brings clarity. Even a flawed action teaches more than endless planning. Stoics believed clarity comes from engagement with reality, not from mental rehearsal. The pursuit of perfection often looks disciplined, but it is often just fear standing still. Stoicism does not ask you to rush blindly, but it does ask you to move. Reasonable action, taken now, is better than perfect action imagined later. Fear shrinks when it is faced. It grows when it is obeyed. When perfection controls your choices, fear becomes your ruler. When you accept imperfection, reason takes its place. Acting without guarantees is not recklessness, it is acceptance of life as it is. The Stoics lived with uncertainty and still chose to act, because they understood that waiting for fear to disappear is waiting forever. Action matters more than flawless plans. Stoicism teaches that life happens in motion, not in thought alone. Many people spend years planning, preparing, and organizing, believing that the perfect plan will protect them from failure. But a plan, no matter how detailed, has no value until it meets reality. Reality does not follow scripts. It responds to action. A flawless plan feels safe because it exists only in the mind. There are no risks there, no mistakes, no resistance. But Stoics warned against living only in thought. Thinking without acting creates the illusion of progress. You feel busy, yet nothing changes. Time moves forward, but you stay in the same place. Action exposes weakness, and that is why many avoid it. When you act, you discover what you do not know. You face obstacles you did not expect. This discomfort is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of learning. Stoicism values learning through experience, not through endless preparation. Wisdom grows from engagement with life, not from perfect ideas. Plans are useful, but only as tools. Stoics believed in reason, not rigidity. A plan should guide action, not replace it. When someone refuses to act until a plan is flawless, they give the plan more importance than life itself. They forget that plans must change once action begins. Flexibility comes from movement, not stillness. No plan can predict all outcomes. External events are outside your control. Stoicism teaches acceptance of this truth. When you focus too much on making plans perfect, you are trying to control the uncontrollable. This leads to frustration and hesitation. Action accepts uncertainty. It works with what is available now. Effort is within your control. Timing is within partial control. Results are not. Stoics measured success by effort guided by virtue, not by outcomes. Acting with discipline, courage, and honesty matters more than acting perfectly. A flawed action done with good intention is more valuable than a perfect plan never used. Flawless plans often delay responsibility. Acting means taking ownership of consequences. Planning feels safer because consequences are distant. But Stoicism teaches responsibility through action. You learn who you are when you act under pressure. Character reveals itself in movement, not in preparation. Action also builds strength. Each step taken increases confidence and clarity. Waiting for perfection weakens resolve. The longer you wait, the heavier action feels. Stoics understood this and practiced daily effort, even in small ways. Small actions train the mind to face discomfort. This training matters more than any strategy. Perfection in planning can become a form of attachment. Attachment to control. Attachment to certainty. Stoicism warns against attachment because life is unstable. When plans fail, attached minds suffer. When action is the focus, adaptation becomes natural. You adjust, correct, and continue. Mistakes made in action are not wasted. They provide real feedback. Planning guesses. Action teaches. Stoics believe that error is part of progress. Avoiding mistakes by avoiding action is not wisdom. It is stagnation. Growth requires exposure to error. Action brings presence. Planning often lives in the future. Stoicism values the present moment. Acting now grounds you in reality. It forces attention, effort, and awareness. Even imperfect action connects you to life as it is, not as imagined. A flawless plan can collapse at the first challenge. An active mind learns to respond. Stoics trained themselves to meet obstacles calmly because they expected resistance. Action prepares you for resistance. Planning alone does not. Choosing action over perfection is choosing courage over comfort. It is choosing reality over illusion. Stoicism does not reject planning, but it rejects worshiping it. Plans serve action. Action serves life. When action begins, clarity follows. When action is delayed, fear grows stronger, and life grows quieter. Time is limited and never returns. Stoicism treats this as a fact, not a threat. Most people understand this idea in words, but few live by it in action. They behave as if time is endless, as if tomorrow is guaranteed, as if there will always be another chance. Stoics did not live with this illusion. They kept the awareness of time close, not to create fear, but to create clarity. Every day that passes is removed from your life forever. You cannot recover it through regret, effort, or wisdom. Once a moment is gone, it belongs to the past. Stoicism teaches acceptance of this reality. Fighting it only leads to anxiety. Ignoring it leads to waste. Understanding it leads to purpose. People often waste time without realizing it. They delay decisions. They avoid difficult actions. They wait for better conditions. Each delay feels small, harmless, and reasonable. But time does not disappear all at once. It disappears quietly in pieces. Stoics warned against this slow loss. A wasted hour seems minor, but a lifetime is built from hours. The Stoics believed that the present moment is all you truly own. The past is fixed. The future is uncertain. Only now is within reach. When you live as if time is endless, you treat the present carelessly. When you accept its limits, the present gains value. Awareness sharpens attention. Choices become deliberate. Many people fear death, but Stoicism teaches that fearing death is less useful than respecting time. Death is outside your control. Time usage is not. You may not control how long you live, but you control how you live today. This shift in focus removes helplessness and restores responsibility. Time is often traded for comfort. People choose ease over effort, distraction over purpose, delay over action. These choices feel small, but they shape a life. Stoicism teaches that comfort can be costly when it steals time without meaning. Pleasure without direction leaves emptiness behind. The Stoics practiced remembering mortality, not as a dark obsession, but as a guide. Knowing that life is temporary helps separate what matters from what does not. Petty worries lose power. Trivial conflicts fade. Attention moves toward values, relationships, and meaningful effort. Time does not wait for readiness. It moves regardless of your plans, fears, or excuses. Waiting to feel ready often means waiting until opportunity has passed. Stoicism teaches readiness through action. You become ready by engaging, not by delaying. Time rewards those who act, not those who wait. Regret is born from misused time, not from failure, but from inaction. People rarely regret trying and failing. They regret what they avoided, postponed, or ignored. Stoicism seeks to reduce regret by encouraging conscious living. Each day is treated as a complete unit of life, worthy of intention. The Stoics did not rush, but they did not drift. There is a difference. Rushing is driven by anxiety. Drifting is driven by neglect. Stoic living is steady and purposeful. It respects time without being ruled by it. It moves forward without panic. Time also tests character. How you spend your time reveals your values. Attention follows importance. If your time is always consumed by distraction, avoidance, or fear, your values are being decided for you. Stoicism teaches reclaiming time through conscious choice. Every moment you are alive is a moment you are shaping yourself. Habits form through repetition. Character grows through consistent action. Time magnifies choices. Small actions repeated daily become a life. Small delays repeated daily become loss. The Stoics believed that living well today is enough. Not perfect, not complete, but honest and intentional. They understood that tomorrow is uncertain, but today is real. Time does not return, but it does offer this moment. What you do with it determines whether it is used or wasted. Control effort, not outcomes. This idea sits at the center of Stoic thought. Many people suffer not because of what happens to them, but because they try to control what was never theirs to control. They invest their peace in results, reactions, and events that exist outside their influence. Stoicism offers a simpler, stronger approach by placing attention where it belongs. Effort is yours. Intention is yours. Choice is yours. These are internal. Outcomes depend on many forces beyond you. Other people's actions, chance, timing, and circumstance all play a role. When you tie your sense of worth to outcomes, you place your inner state in the hands of the external world. This leads to constant frustration. Stoics believe that freedom comes from accepting limits. This acceptance is not weakness, it is clarity. When you know what you can and cannot control, energy stops being wasted on resistance. Focus sharpens. Effort becomes clean and direct. You act fully, then release the result. Most anxiety comes from outcome thinking. People imagine future results and suffer in advance. They fear failure, rejection, or loss before anything has happened. Stoicism teaches that this suffering is optional. You cannot control what will happen, but you can control how you show up. Effort in the present moment is real. Future outcomes are imagined. When you focus on effort, action becomes lighter. You no longer carry the weight of expectations. You do your part and accept the rest. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you care wisely. You commit to doing what is right, not to forcing a specific result. Outcomes can mislead. Good effort may lead to poor results. Poor effort may sometimes lead to success. Stoics did not measure a life by luck. They measured it by virtue. Acting with honesty, courage, discipline, and reason matters more than winning. When outcomes define success, ethics bend. When effort defines success, integrity remains intact. Many people lose motivation when results are slow. They believe effort is pointless without immediate reward. Stoicism corrects this thinking. Effort has value on its own. It shapes character. It builds resilience. It strengthens the mind. Even unseen effort leaves a mark on who you become. Letting go of outcomes also improves relationships. You cannot control how others respond to you. When you expect certain reactions, disappointment follows. Stoicism teaches respect for others' autonomy. You speak honestly, act kindly, and accept their response without resentment. This preserves inner peace. Control over effort also brings consistency. When results are the goal, motivation rises and falls. When effort is the focus, discipline stabilizes. You act because it is right, not because success is guaranteed. This steadiness is a Stoic strength. Failure becomes easier to bear when effort is honored. You can accept loss without self-blame. You know you did what you could with what you had. This reduces regret and bitterness. You learn, adjust, and continue. Controlling effort also means controlling attitude. You choose patience in difficulty. You choose calm under pressure. You choose persistence when progress is slow. These choices are always available, regardless of circumstance. Stoics trained their minds to release attachment to results through daily practice. They reminded themselves that success and failure are external events. What matters is how you meet them. This mindset protects against arrogance in success and despair in failure. Life is uncertain by nature. Trying to control outcomes is a constant battle against reality. Focusing on effort aligns you with reality. You work within what is possible instead of fighting what is not. When effort is your measure, you are never powerless. Even in loss, effort remains available. Even in uncertainty, choice remains. This is Stoic freedom. Peace does not come from getting what you want. It comes from wanting to do what is right and doing it fully, then letting go of the rest. Mistakes are teachers, not failures. Stoicism approaches error with calm realism, not shame or drama. Most people fear mistakes because they attach their identity to outcomes. When something goes wrong, they believe it defines their worth. Stoicism separates the event from the self. A mistake is an action that missed its aim, nothing more. Fear of mistakes creates paralysis. People hesitate, delay, and avoid action to protect themselves from error. Stoics saw this as irrational. Avoiding mistakes by avoiding action prevents learning. Growth requires exposure to difficulty. Without mistakes, improvement is impossible. A mistake reveals information. It shows where understanding was incomplete or judgment was flawed. This information is valuable. Ignoring it wastes the lesson. Stoics believed wisdom grows from correction, not from being right the first time. Error is part of the process of becoming better. Most mistakes are exaggerated by emotion. People replay them, judge themselves harshly, and imagine lasting damage. Stoicism teaches perspective. Ask what is truly harmed. Often, pride is the only wound. Reason reduces suffering by placing the event in its proper size. The Stoics did not deny responsibility. When a mistake is made, they accepted it without excuses. Acceptance allows improvement. Blame creates resistance. Learning begins with ownership, not self-attack. Mistakes also test character. How you respond matters more than the error itself. Do you become defensive or curious? Do you hide or reflect? Stoicism values reflection guided by reason. Calm review leads to growth. Many people confuse perfection with virtue. Stoicism rejects this confusion. Virtue is about intention and effort, not flawless execution. A well-intended action that fails is still honorable. A cowardly action that avoids risk may succeed but lacks virtue. Mistakes strengthen resilience. Each recovery builds confidence. You learn that errors are survivable. Fear loses power when you see that failure does not destroy you. Stoics train themselves to face setbacks without despair. There is also freedom in accepting mistakes. When you no longer fear them, you act more honestly. You take responsibility instead of hiding. This honesty builds trust with others and with yourself. Mistakes expose reality. They remove illusions of control and certainty. Stoicism welcomes this clarity. Reality, even when uncomfortable, is better than false confidence. Learning from mistakes requires patience. Immediate perfection is unrealistic. Stoics valued long-term improvement over short-term pride. They accepted gradual progress. Self-forgiveness is part of Stoic discipline. This does not mean ignoring consequences. It means refusing to carry unnecessary guilt. Guilt that leads to correction is useful. Guilt that leads to self-hate is wasteful. Mistakes also cultivate humility. They remind you that you are human. Humility opens the mind. Arrogance closes it. Stoicism favors humility because it keeps learning alive. The desire to avoid mistakes often comes from concern about others' opinions. Stoicism teaches independence from external judgment. Other people's reactions are not under your control. Acting reasonably is. Mistakes do not erase progress. One error does not cancel previous effort. Stoics viewed life as a continuous practice. Each day offers another chance to act better. Even repeated mistakes carry lessons. They point to deeper habits or beliefs that need attention. Stoicism encourages examination rather than condemnation. When mistakes are treated as enemies, fear dominates. When they are treated as teachers, growth follows. Stoicism chooses growth through understanding rather than avoidance through fear. Delaying life is wasting life. Stoicism views delay not as a neutral choice, but as a decision with real cost. Many people believe they are simply waiting for the right time, better conditions, or more confidence. In reality, they are postponing living. Time continues to move while they stand still. Delay often feels reasonable. It disguises itself as patience, planning, or caution. But Stoicism asks for honest examination. Is the delay improving action, or avoiding discomfort? If nothing changes during the waiting period except the passing of time, then delay is not preparation. It is avoidance. Life is experienced through action. Values are tested in motion, not in thought. When someone delays living, they delay growth. Skills weaken without use. Courage fades without challenge. Purpose becomes vague without effort. Stoics believe that the present moment is the only place life exists. Waiting for the future to begin living is a misunderstanding of reality. The future never arrives as imagined. It arrives as another present moment. If you are not living now, you will not live then. Many delays are rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty. Stoicism teaches that fear shrinks when faced. Delaying strengthens fear by confirming its authority. Each avoided action teaches the mind that fear should be obeyed. Delay also feeds regret. Looking back, people rarely regret acting imperfectly. They regret not acting at all. Stoicism aims to reduce regret by encouraging timely action guided by reason. Acting now, even in small ways, preserves dignity. Comfort is a powerful enemy of action. Delay often protects comfort. Stoics warned against becoming soft through ease. Comfort without purpose dulls the mind. Difficulty, when chosen wisely, sharpens it. Life does not wait for clarity. Clarity comes from engagement. Many people wait until they feel certain. Stoicism teaches that certainty is rare. Acting with incomplete knowledge is part of being human. Wisdom lies in adjusting, not in waiting. Delay also steals momentum. Action builds energy. Delay drains it. The longer something is postponed, the heavier it feels. Stoics practice daily action to prevent stagnation. Small steps keep life moving. Time lost to delay cannot be recovered. Stoicism treats this as a reason for discipline, not panic. Awareness of loss encourages focus. It reminds you to choose what matters. People often delay difficult conversations, meaningful work, or personal change. These delays create inner tension. Unfinished actions occupy the mind. Stoicism values completion because it clears mental space. Delay can become a habit. One postponed action leads to another. Soon, waiting becomes a way of life. Stoicism breaks this pattern through deliberate effort. Each completed action weakens the habit of avoidance. Living later is an illusion. Life happens now. Delaying joy, growth, or purpose assumes there will be time later. Stoics knew that time is uncertain. Acting now is a form of respect for reality. Delay also distances you from yourself. When actions do not align with values, inner conflict grows. Stoicism seeks harmony between thought and action. Living according to values requires movement. Even rest should be chosen, not defaulted to through avoidance. Stoicism allows rest when it serves strength, not when it replaces life. Delaying life often means letting external circumstances decide for you. Stoicism teaches self-direction. You choose when to act. You do not wait for permission from fear. Every day offers a chance to begin. Beginning does not require perfection. It requires decision. Stoics valued decision followed by effort. Wasting time is not always loud. Often it is quiet, comfortable, and justified. Stoicism cuts through these justifications by asking one question. Are you living today, or postponing life again? Courage grows through imperfect action. Stoicism does not see courage as a feeling that appears before action. It sees courage as a result of action taken despite fear. Many people wait to feel brave before they act. Stoics understood that this waiting never ends. Courage is built, not found. Fear is a natural response. Stoicism does not demand the absence of fear. It demands reasoned action in its presence. Acting while afraid trains the mind to tolerate discomfort. Each imperfect step weakens fear's grip. Avoidance strengthens it. Imperfect action matters because life rarely offers ideal conditions. Waiting for certainty delays growth. Stoics accepted uncertainty as part of existence. Acting with incomplete information is not recklessness, when guided by reason and values. Courage is often misunderstood as boldness. Stoicism defines it as endurance, endurance of doubt, endurance of discomfort, endurance of criticism. These qualities are developed through repeated exposure, not through thinking. Small acts of courage matter. Speaking honestly, trying again after failure, facing an uncomfortable truth. These actions may seem minor, but they shape character. Stoics valued daily courage over dramatic gestures. Perfection is not required for courage. In fact, demanding perfection prevents it. When people believe they must act flawlessly, they avoid acting at all. Stoicism removes this barrier by valuing effort over outcome. Imperfect action also teaches limits. You learn where strength is needed. You learn what must be improved. Courage grows as understanding deepens. Fear often exaggerates risk. Action brings reality into focus. Many feared outcomes never occur. Stoics relied on experience to correct false judgments. Each action taken reduces imagined danger. Courage strengthens through repetition. One brave act does not remove fear forever. Stoics practiced courage daily. This consistency mattered more than intensity. Imperfect action also builds trust in oneself. You learn that you can survive mistakes. This trust reduces fear over time. Confidence is earned, not assumed. Courage guided by Stoicism is calm, not reckless. It respects reason. It chooses action that aligns with values, even when uncomfortable. This discipline prevents regret. Avoiding action to protect comfort weakens the will. Stoics believe the will must be trained. Difficulty serves as training. Courage also involves acceptance. Accepting that discomfort is part of growth. Accepting that others may judge. Accepting that results are uncertain. Imperfect action keeps life moving. Movement matters. Stagnation feeds fear. Stoics admired progress, not perfection. Progress requires risk. Risk requires courage. Courage requires action. Fear often asks for guarantees. Life offers none. Stoicism teaches acting without guarantees. Courage is quiet. It does not announce itself. It is present in the choice to act again. Each imperfect action is a vote for strength. Each avoided action is a vote for fear. Stoics chose strength through action, knowing that courage grows only when tested live by values, not approval. Stoicism teaches that a life guided by the opinions of others is unstable. Approval changes with mood, trend, and circumstance. Values remain steady. When you seek approval, you give control of your inner state to forces outside yourself. Stoics warned that this is a form of dependence. Many people adjust their behavior to avoid criticism or gain praise. This adjustment often happens quietly. Words are softened. Truth is delayed. Convictions are hidden. Over time, this creates inner conflict. Stoicism values alignment between thought and action. Approval seeking breaks this alignment. Approval feels rewarding because it signals acceptance, but it is temporary. Today's praise can become tomorrow's rejection. Stoics understood that building peace on something unstable leads to anxiety. When approval fades, so does confidence. Values come from reason. They are chosen through reflection, not granted by others. Living by values means acting according to what you believe is right, even when it is uncomfortable. Stoicism teaches that discomfort is often the price of integrity. Seeking approval often leads to dishonesty. Not always in words, but in silence. Important truths are withheld. Necessary actions are avoided. Stoics believe that honesty with oneself is essential for a good life. Approval also distorts judgment. Decisions are made based on appearance rather than substance. Stoicism values clarity. When judgment is clouded by the desire to please, reason is compromised. Living by values requires independence of mind. This does not mean rejecting others. It means not allowing their opinions to rule your choices. Stoics respected others without surrendering self-direction. Approval seeking creates fear of rejection. This fear limits action. Stoicism teaches acceptance of rejection as an external event. You cannot control how others respond. You can control how you act. Values provide stability. When you act according to them, self-respect grows. This inner approval is stronger than external praise. Stoics believed self-respect is the foundation of tranquility. Living by values also requires courage. Standing by principles may lead to conflict. Stoics accepted conflict when it was the cost of virtue. Avoiding conflict at the expense of integrity leads to regret. Approval-seeking ties identity to others' reactions. Stoicism frees identity from this trap. You are defined by your character, not by applause. Values guide behavior even when no one is watching. Approval only matters when others are present. Stoics valued consistency. Living for approval often leads to exhaustion. Constant adjustment drains energy. Living by values simplifies life. Decisions become clearer. Stoicism does not reject community. It rejects dependency. You can listen to others without obeying them. Respect without submission. Approval is external. Values are internal. Stoicism prioritizes the internal because it remains under your control. When values guide action, regret decreases. Even difficult outcomes are easier to accept. You acted according to reason. Approval can never be fully satisfied. There will always be someone who disagrees. Stoicism teaches peace through acceptance of this reality. Living by values creates a quiet confidence. Not loud, not defensive, steady. Stoics understood that seeking approval is a form of slavery. Living by values is freedom.